Hi everybody, welcome back to our channel. Today we're going to be talking about getting older, and it's okay.
All right. Before we get started, if you like what you're seeing, please like, share, and subscribe.
Okay, so I see so many people in general trying to be young. And I feel like we talked about this a little bit the other day on one of our Freestyle Fridays, but there is this thing where people are so afraid to get older, you know, and it's concerning.
Okay.
It's concerning because everyone wants to, like, I look on, like, people that I know, or even people I don't know, but I do know their age, and I'm like, you look good for your age. It's okay to not to have a couple lines in your forehead. It's okay to have some crow's feet right here. It really is okay to have, you know, a little extra weight somewhere. It's not the end of the world to get older. But I'm starting to realize now that a lot of people just in regular, you know, people are feeling scared to get old, and they're doing things like putting extra filters on their pictures, like crazy filters. You know, just like, what's that thing called where they smudge out, smoothing out every part of your face where you can't even see the detail of like your eyes or anything. Like, it's okay to me for you to get a little older. Like, it's to embrace it.
You're not going to get, you're supposed to. Like, you're supposed to get older.
Yeah.
You know, like, I think people don't realize that. Like, at some point, I don't know. Maybe it's because I don't have children. Like, I always have this sort of conspiracy, like my own little conspiracy, that people with kids feel older because they actually have something that shows their age, because they have this person coming up behind them.
Right.
That is, you know, if you have a child that's now like driving, or a child that's in college, then you start to look at them as your parents looked at you.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so maybe because I don't have kids, I don't have that feeling. Like, I need to feel like I need to look 30.
If you have kids, let us know. Is that what it is? That maybe you, like Karen was saying, you feel like you have this example of older, like you're older because if you have a child that's 20,
right? You're
older. You got older, right? So maybe it is different for people who are without children.
Right.
I don't know because I also know some people who grow old gracefully. You know what I mean?
But to me, most of the people that I feel act like that are people who have kids. You know, they had kids younger. They had kids in their 20s. Yeah. And now here they are in their mid 40s, and their kids are going to college. Yeah. And some of my friends are grandparents. Right. You know what I mean? And so I don't know what it's like to feel that way. You know what I mean? But I do feel like I'm okay with getting older.
Yeah, I'm not tripping.
You know what I mean? I guess maybe I'm just a type of settled type of person. But I'm not in this place where I feel like I have to look younger. Now, that doesn't mean I don't do steps to keep my skin together, because I do believe in plastic surgery. Yeah, I'm okay with Botox. I might get some myself one day.
But like to a point, right? I mean, obviously.
But I think that the important thing was to take care of my skin. Yeah, the way it is, you know what I mean? Because just like even with makeup, when I don't want to wear makeup all the time. No, I don't want to wear foundation every day. So to me, taking care of my skin, drinking a lot of water, working out, all those things help your skin to, you know, not smoking, not drinking, getting enough sleep. Those things really help you as far as your appearance, because that's, I think, even stressing over your looks can make you old. Yeah, because of stress.
And then I always feel like people that when they try so hard though, and I feel like there's some people who try so hard they don't want to get older, that they try to do younger things, and they end up they just try to look younger. Yeah. And I'm like, but then it changes their whole attitude. They start acting younger, and it's like, it's embarrassing. Like, you don't have to do that. I'm 43, I embrace 43. I still know people who don't even tell people their age. I'm like, what is that? I don't understand that either. You know?
I think I was like Nicole Murphy. She said that. She's like, I like telling people I'm in my 50s. She said, because I work hard.
Nicole Murphy looks
But even her, like she was just saying, even with me, I love the way I look. I work hard to look this good. Yeah. She said, but I love telling. She said, I think there's some stress in not being able to tell how old you are. She said, when women my age want to say, I don't tell my age. Why? Yeah. She said, I proudly tell everybody I'm 54, and people would say, maybe it's because you look good. You feel like you're okay with saying that. And she was just saying that, well, yeah, but I think that you should feel proud, about every, and I understand that because I think that, look, I've gone through a whole lot in my life, and so to me, to make it to 44, I can look at myself and think, and look, I don't need anyone else to tell me this, and it's not vain to do this, by the way. I can look at myself and say, I am 100% happy
with the way
I look good for 44. I can look at, and it's important. Like, I'm not going to just say it to people, right? But what I'm saying is, in the morning when you look at yourself in the mirror, when it's just you, right? It's important to me to reflect without makeup or anything.
Have you ever criticized? Have you ever looked at yourself in the mirror and like criticized?
No, those days have kind of left me because I used to do that all the time. I used to criticize myself when I was my 20s. I did not feel like I looked good, and I put myself down 20s and 30s all the time. And now that I'm in my 40s, I'm thinking, look, this is good. If this is as good as it gets, then I'm happy. Yeah. You know what I mean? Look, I'm so what? You know what I mean? Like, I got a little grays there, and look, but I like the way my skin looks. I don't have any like, I don't have any problem. I'm not, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like, I'm not rushing to like hide everything. You know what I mean? Like, without makeup and stuff, I do. You guys see us without makeup all the time. We have lots of shows where we do have makeup on, but I have like dark circles. Without the what's it called, concealer and stuff. I have dark circles, and it's I'm not losing my mind. I know that's because of age and stuff like that, and I'm not losing my mind over it. But I was talking to somebody the other day, and she was like, she was 45, and she's like, oh my God, I do not, it was her birthday, and she's like, I don't want to get another year older. Like, I don't want, I feel like it's all going so fast. I'm getting so old. I feel like I look old. I'm like, well, you're telling yourself all that, then it's going to register on your face if you keep telling yourself all that. But I asked her, I said, why, what's wrong with getting older? Right. She's like, what do you mean? That means your skin's going to start getting more wrinkly. I said, yeah. Your hair's gonna get white, sure. I was like, and I said, but it's like this power, right? This power in age, and I just think that a lot of women specifically are so afraid to go that next box, that check off box. You got now check off that other one, right? You know what I mean? That one in the 40s, and people get so nervous with that, and I'm like, but you should not like. You should be able to embrace all the things you went through in your life, and where you're at now. You're also can be like, you're wise. You can, there's things you learn as you get older, but there's people who are like, oh my God, my skin is sagging, and this is not here. My breasts are down to my ankles now, and I'm so blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, but.
Yeah, I mean, I've said this many times,
but it's okay.
But I think that if you work on yourself, I think that part of feeling young, or even, it's not so much what you wear, it's how you feel about yourself. Right. You know what I mean? Like, the other day, like I was working out the other day, and I remember thinking, I feel so good when I when I run for 30 minutes. Yeah. I mean, I feel like it's like I can literally have an ache. Somewhere, and then as soon as I start running, it's gone. Like the endorphins, but my whole personality has completely changed. I feel like I look different. I feel different just from running or working out for about 40 minutes. You know what I mean? That one moment, changes the way your skin looks. It changes the way you feel about yourself mentally. And most people who have a lot of confidence, they hold their shoulders back and they walk. That's part of it. You know what I mean? So when you walk with your shoulders slouched, because when you talk down to yourself, you end up starting to look the way you talk, like Danielle was kind of saying. But your posture ends up going that way, and you don't feel good about yourself. And so people. Well, there are a lot of like women and even men sometimes, like where they try to dress young to feel young, and it's just like you don't need to wear Junior's clothes to feel young, because in many cases it makes you look older. Yeah, you know what I mean? Because it's like when you get older, there's certain things you have to do. You can't wear really, really dark makeup all the time anymore because it settles into your skin. It's not like young skin. But I always say that I think. And maybe that's the way you should think. Is I think I look better now than I did when I was actually in my 20s. If I have a picture, I'll put it up here. But and you won't. I don't think I look bad. It's just that I feel better. now about myself than I did then, and it shows in the photo.
Yeah.
Danielle, I used to hate taking pictures all the time, and Danielle used to love Danielle just feels so good about herself back in the day, you know. I
didn't take, I'm never, like, I don't feel like
I hate photos. I hate photo ops. I hate when people, I still don't really like it, but I'm a lot better with it now, but when I was young, I hated taking photos. You know what I mean? And the picture always came out like I hated it.
Well, it's because you didn't like
right. So I feel like that's mostly what it is. You start looking old when you start feeling like really old, and I think that you have to do things to really don't wear so much makeup.
You're gonna
embrace that look, embrace where you are a lot more. You know what I mean? Work out more because that makes you feel younger. Makes you feel younger.
And it's so much deeper than because it's like how you speak to yourself. I just feel like how you speak to yourself is going to eventually register in the way that you look. Right. So if you're speaking negative things about yourself, I'm saying this because I've done this before, where I've called myself a name, just even if it's in like silliness, like being funny, like, you know, you this, you know, there's something about saying something negative about yourself that is eventually, when you say it enough, you're going to become that. Yeah. And I was telling this woman that I said, well, during this last 15-minute conversation. You have made fun of your skin like 6 times. You know, you've made fun of your weight just equal amount of times. I was like, you were talking about how you just, you know, you're so old. I was like, so all of those words, you feel that way. If you feel that way, you're going to look that way. And people have to start liking you the way that you look. Stop trying to be like these young people all the time. I just think that's time. Let them be young. Let the young people have their stuff. Have their things. They have all their young look. And I'm not saying that. I mean, everyone can dress and look the way you want to look. But there's something so incredibly desperate looking when you see an older person, literally older, you know they're older. Even if you look good older. You know when someone's older. Like Nicole Murphy. She is in her 50s, right? She looks great, but she acts and dresses her age. Yeah. You know what I mean? Even though she still looks trendy and
younger. It's like, I always think you look the way you feel.
Yeah.
If you feel like crap, like there's sometimes Joe Rogan he's 54, I think. Sometimes he'll be interviewing somebody and I'll be like, wow, like you don't, he'll be interviewing people younger than him. Yeah. And I'll be like, God, you look great. Like compared to these 35-year-old people you're like interviewing. I mean, Mike Tyson looks great.
You see Mike Tyson?
Wow. I mean, he looks really good. You know what I mean? And he's in his 50s, you know, and it's just like,
but they also feel good about themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like they feel really good about themselves.
And you see them on the podcast, it's different than when you see like them because they're not all made up when you go on the podcast. Right. You know, but I'm saying there is a way of feeling good about yourself and finding your own beauty. I mean, like I'm saying, before I wake up in the morning, and you know, before I take a shower or after I take a shower, I pull my hair back. I always look at myself without makeup. I think this is great. I mean, even if I don't lose another pound, I mean, I'd love to lose more weight, but I'm just saying, like, even if I don't, I'm really happy.
Like it's not. I don't feel like it's conceited to look at yourself, like Kara was saying, like in the morning or what. At some point in your life, you should look at yourself. Not every day, you don't have to, but just in the raw. Right. You know what I mean? And compliment yourself. Right. You know what I mean? Because I feel like people are so I think a lot of it has to do like social media too. Like you think because everyone looks so perfect. Yeah. Everyone the lady I was telling you about, she was showing me this is my ideal look. This is the ideal how I want to look. And she was showing me this lady on Instagram. And I was like, okay, so she's 20. Okay, that's one. Just okay, and she's wearing something very trendy, very 20-ish. She's feeling very 20. You can see it in her eyes. Okay, there's also a lot of stuff going on there. She probably did a little bit of photoshopping. You know, everybody does. I said, so you're showing me an image from a social media website that is notorious for Photoshop, notorious for filters. Okay, I was like, so. This is not real life. Right. Okay. Like she told me too, she puts a filter on every last one of her pictures. She does not take a picture without putting filters on it. And I'm like, okay. You gotta stop. Right. You know what I mean? You really have to stop. It's beautiful to get older. It is. Were you ever afraid to be get to a certain age? I feel like when I turned 35, I was a little weird.
I was odd when I thought that when I turned 30, I was going to be old, and then I didn't care. You know what I mean? Then when I turned 40, I thought this is the one. This is the one where I'm going to feel older because now, 40 is that age where you're not young anymore, but you're not old. You're like at the beginning of old. You know what I mean? But you're at the end of middle age. They say 45, 50. Yeah. They call that middle age. But I always say it's like 40.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The average person lives to be about 80. The average woman, I think, is like 80 something. The average man is like 75.
Yeah.
So I guess that would be middle age for the average person. But you know what, though? I think that it's like, I always say that middle age is like being a teenager again, because you're not old enough for some things, you're not young enough. And so it's a confusing time. It's a time like when you're 60, you start to realize I'm an older person.
I'm an older person.
So you stop with that trying to be young.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But when and so
we had this conversation with our mom too a while back, and my mother is in her 60s, but my mother looks really good. My mother looks so good, and I'm like, man, you don't look. But she was even told us, she's like, I'm starting to notice a couple of things here and there, and I'm like, yeah, but you look great. Forget all those couple of things.
Right.
You know what I mean? Forget it. I noticed a couple of things with me.
But I find myself not comparing myself. See, like they're saying, don't compare yourself to younger people, but don't compare yourself to people your own age. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I find myself not doing that anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I remember when I first went natural, I wanted my hair to look just like hers. And it doesn't.
Right.
You know what I mean? Whatever. I like it. This is how it is. This is what it came out to be, and I'm okay.
Oh, you want to look mine?
Yeah, because you always wear your hair natural before. You were already wearing your hair natural before, kind of.
Yeah.
Before. And I didn't really know what my curl pattern was going to be. Honestly, I was just going by what she did because she was already doing it.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so when I big chopped, I didn't really know. But I mean, this is my hair. I'm happy with the way it came out. But also I'm just starting to be happy with the way I look in general. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't walk around thinking I'm, I do think you should walk around feeling good about yourself.
Yeah, you should.
But I also just think that it should be a habit for you to, without putting yourself down. Don't sit there and call yourself like names and think that you're like, some people like to humble themselves by putting themselves down. I think, you know what I mean? Like they don't want to say they look good because they feel like it's not humble.
Right.
But yeah, that's bull. I don't do that anymore. I think that makes you, set you up for comparison. And so, like I said, every morning when I wake up, before I have to go, and especially because I'm a housekeeper, that could really make you feel ugly. Because we're in uniform clothes, you know what I mean? And so before I had put on that uniform, before I put on any kind of makeup or even do this show or do anything, I always look at myself and just like it and say, this is as good as it gets, and I'm pleased, thanks God.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like I'm happy, and I'm not saying like that isn't vain.
Yeah,
that is appreciating what God gave you to the highest level. You know what I mean? Because I do believe that we are as far as my belief in God, I believe that we are God. We are the highest form. Our higher self is God. So when you put yourself down, you put God down.
Yeah.
When you put other people down, you kind of put God down.
Yeah.
Because you see a God in everyone, including yourself. So it's like whenever you wake up in the morning, if you can't look at yourself and just appreciate who you are without trying to compare yourself to some celebrity or some girl at work, or putting your, I need to lose 10 more pounds, I'm so fat, all these things that you can do to yourself if you want, but it gets you absolutely nowhere. It makes you feel really bad. It stresses you out, and then you're not happy with yourself. And I don't say any negative things about myself anymore.
Yeah, like I if I do, like I really have to catch it and like stop.
If I do, I make sure that it's constructive. If I say to myself, Kara, it's time to cut out with the pies. You need to lose some weight. That's constructive. That's not putting myself down. That's taking assessment of my view of myself and saying I'm not happy with that. But I'm not calling myself names. You're a fat ass.
Yeah.
You're all, saying all those things. And those things are name calling.
Right.
You know what I mean? But if I look at myself, oh, Kara, you need to do this, or your hair is looking, honey, it's time to do something with that.
Well, people are comparing themselves to unrealistic things, like we were talking about with social media stuff and all these different apps and stuff. It's like there was a time where Photoshop was never in our hands. It was in the hands of professional photographers and stuff. And now we have it at our fingertips. We're like, oh my God, I can recreate. I can make my waist smaller. I can make myself taller. I can make my hair, I can make my skin smoother, And it's like, before you know it, you don't even look like the picture that you end up posting and pressing send. It doesn't even look like you. And I feel like that makes your self-esteem even worse because now you created a false image of yourself based on what you see online. And a lot of that stuff is really just not real. I mean, it's just not a real thing. And I just think you have to be very aware.
Yeah, I would say that
you comparing yourself to other people. We used to buy magazines all the time. And one thing that stopped me, it's many years ago, we were in New York when this happened, but many years ago, I used to buy magazines all the time, and all of those tabloid magazines, or just Cosmopolitan, Vogue, all of those magazines I used to buy. And I was like, you know what, one day we were like, I'm just stop buying these damn magazines, because there's something about, I'm always trying to look like the girls in the magazines, and I'm like, those girls are nice looking. Right. I'm not gonna say they're not nice looking, but I'm like, if it's not, it becomes like an obsession. I see people doing that now, only not with magazines. Now it's with freaking Instagram, where people are like, oh, I have to look like this girl. Right. That's my ideal looking person. Okay, but
I've learned over like I think. Like, I don't buy magazines anymore.
Yeah,
I don't either. You know what I mean?
I don't even do it.
But I have learned to appreciate, I think, like, that's another good thing about getting older is that I think, well, for me, is I've learned to appreciate every age. I will never be 44 again. This is it.
This is it.
You know what I mean? So I feel like now I want to appreciate moments more, which is why I'm not online a lot. Besides our show, I don't go on Facebook a lot anymore. Every once in a while I'll check in on it. I'll see something funny or something that sticks out from a friend that posted something. But on Instagram, I'm not really on those anymore. I don't record things. Danielle and I will go out and have coffee or we'll go eat something, but we don't take pictures of don't take pictures of what I'm doing all day.
We can obviously enjoy.
I mean? Now I'm not down at people who do that because I do realize that is the times. People love social media.
There's nothing wrong.
The only thing I think that I wish I had, that I wish I was young still. The only thing that I could say that makes me want to be young again would be that I want to have a baby.
Oh yeah, we kind of
that would be it.
Yeah, but only because we kind of compromised that. Possibly. Yeah. We don't know what God has for you, but there are things where it's physically you have to get going. You know what I mean? There's stuff that's not gonna last.
But forever. I realize that I'm also in the year 2020. You can do adoption. You can do a lot of other things, and I can also still have a child. Yeah. You know what I mean? You just have to have a healthy.
But I don't envy people who have children.
No. But if there were anything that I wish that I could go back to youth for. It's nothing but that. Other than that, I'm completely fine with my looks. Yeah. I'm very happy being in my 40s. I'm happy being 44. I don't think it's going to change my dating at all. I don't think men see me as unattractive. I don't think that I have to sit there and pump my face up with all kinds of things to make myself look 30. I think that it's just I like where I am as a person, and I think if you're anybody who's watching that does, any woman, even men though, because men are now on Facebook because they see other guys that have been working out and they want to look like those guys, start to feel frumpy, get that man gut when you get into your 40s. You know what I mean? But I would suggest, one of the things I would suggest that work for me is that I literally just don't watch television a lot, regular television. I watch the things I buy that I want to see, but also I don't buy magazines. And what that does is it keeps you from comparing yourself to some people you don't even know. Yeah. You know what I mean? And then I find that even when I'm in the store, if I'm out and I see a pretty woman, it doesn't make me feel less pretty. It just makes I appreciate the woman as being pretty. Like my sister, sometimes I just look like if I look a hot mess, like I have my hair piled up on my head and I'm just watching. And then like she would go out with a friend and then you look so cute. And I think, oh, she looks really pretty, but I don't feel like Danielle looks better than me. Yeah. I just feel like I can appreciate her for where she is. You know what I mean? And so I feel you have to enjoy where you are.
It's fun getting older. Like it's fun. It's and I know that sounds weird, but it is because you have life experience. You know what I mean? And there's just something about don't try to take away from the 20-year-olds. Let them have their life experience. You've already had that. Like don't dwell in that space when you have something that's even more grand at this time. That's their space. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So when you're rejecting your age and you're saying, oh my God, I'm 50 now, I'm 60 now, I'm whatever it is now. It's like, yeah, look what you did. Look how you look. You know what I mean? You're that age and you made it through. You're making it through, So I don't feel like you should always want to be like younger people. Yeah. I just don't think that's a healthy way of thinking. Like I like that I'm older.
Yeah, we had a customer once, a lady that I was cleaning her. She was here for the 500 race, and she was here with her husband, her son, and they went to the race. She didn't want to go, but I was cleaning her room and we were just talking. And she was like, "Oh, how old are you and everything?" And I was telling her, she's like, "Wow, you look a lot younger than 42. I think it was back then." And I was like, "Oh, well, thank you." And she was just like, she told me, she said, "Man, 40 feels young." Because she was 62.
Oh, okay.
And she said, I said, I'm not one of those people though. I'm okay with being in my 40s. I actually like it. She said, that's good. Yeah. She said, keep that because you will never be younger than you are in the moment. It's true. And she's like, and when you are 60, if you feel like that, if you always say that you wish you were younger and you do that, when you turn my age, you'll be wishing you were 40. Yeah. And then you didn't even appreciate 40.
Yeah.
And she's like, and so many people do that. They can't, when they're in their 20s, they can't wait to be older. Mm-hmm. And then as soon as they get older, they wish they were in their 20s again. She's like, I always tell people to just be appreciative of where you are. She's like, because I don't mind being 60. She said, but you seem so much younger. 40 seems younger, but if I talk to a 40-year-old, they seem old. They feel older. Right. She's like, but when you're 60, that just seems like such a young age. And she's like, so it's good that you feel that way, because it's probably why you look younger to me. It's because you don't feel any age. Yeah. And I do feel like that. Sometimes I feel ageless. Yeah. Like I don't really feel older or younger. I just kind of feel like me.
There was a moment though where I did feel, I remember when I first felt older is when I think I was 40. I think I just knew I didn't feel bad about it, but it dawned on me that I was, because a friend of mine was sending her child to college. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm a little bit older. Or when young people do young things and I'm just like, that's like, obnoxious. You know,
right. Like when I'm like with myself,
like I'm aware of it.
I'm just feeling. No, I just feel. I just feel right. I just feel like normal. Yeah. I don't feel old, and I don't feel young. I just feel like myself. You know what I mean? When I'm around someone who's 25, I think, oh, definitely I'm not 25, but I definitely don't ever want to be 25 again. So I'm glad that I'm in my 40s. You know what I mean? And I'm not ready to be 60, so I'm happy with where I am. So I think like whenever it does happen where maybe I want to do Botox, if that happens, you know what I mean? I think that I'll be in a healthy place to make that mentally. I'm not trying to look young. I just want to look freshened up, or maybe for some reason, sometimes things happen like in our family, we have hooded eyelids, and so they can droop, and so maybe I'll get that, fixed to brighten myself up.
Right. Appreciate your age, y'all. Don't get caught up in all this.
It really doesn't mean anything.
Don't get caught up in all the Instagram stuff.
Be happy with your own uniqueness, your own beauty, and your own uniqueness. That's another thing. I think that just appreciate, like I said before, just appreciate you as you are, and don't do. People say it's really hard to do that. It's really not. If you stop doing it, it really isn't. You stop.
I used to criticize myself I used to criticize myself so much, It was just so stupid. And now I look back, and I'm like. If I just see a picture of myself, I'm like, why was I criticizing the way that I look now? I look perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with the way that I look. But it's funny when you do that, it messes you all up. And I'm just like, that's the fun part about being in your 40s now, is that I don't criticize myself like that. Yeah. Or if I do, it's like a fleeting thought and it's over. But back, I used to dwell on it. And so now when I see women that are my age, I'm talking about women specifically, because I feel like it hits us worse. Right. Because women always are wanting to still physically look good, keep everything right and tight. Everything has got to look good, And I love aesthetics. So I'm not going to sit here and be like, has some kind of vanity to, everyone has a little bit of vanity to them, so I understand that part. But again, if you have a wrinkle here, if you have a line, if you got some crow's feet,
that's what it is.
If you got a little bit of extra weight here,
what it is.
It is what it is.
Like, look,
still beautiful.
Doing all this isn't going to do anything.
Yeah, it's not going to do
anything. Like, whatever.
Yeah, I'm sure it's not going to go tighten my face up.
I'm not going to do that. You know what I mean? Like I like to look like human. Yeah. I don't want to start looking like strange. But just appreciate yourself where you are. Don't compare yourself too much. Comparing is just a thief of joy. Seriously, it is. Like it makes you look older, because you can never be perfect. You'll never be perfect, and there will always be something you want to fix. And there are things I want to fix. That's why I know I stop now. Yeah. Because you'll always, I don't care what you get tucked and how much weight you lose. There's always going to be something that when you look in the camera or the mirror, you're going to see something you wish you could fix. And as you get older, things are going to slip and slide. Like I said, I wish my boobs were still way up here. Yeah. You know what I mean? But I'm 44. They slide down. That's just the way it is.
Women we're naturally critical of ourselves, right? But when we get older, the criticism gets a little bit more like, whatever. Like, I really don't care. Like, I really honestly don't care. It used to be a time I didn't go out the house without makeup. Yeah. Like, I would not go out the house without makeup, especially in my 20s. No. Right. You wouldn't catch me outside without makeup. Now I'm just like, oh. Yeah. What? Why am I doing all? No, I don't have to do that. It's not that deep. But also, I feel I'm a human, so I have some sad moments in my life, but I'm a happy person. So I feel good, in general. Like, I feel good, so I think that registers. Maybe that just registers to people. Whenever I see people who look good and they're older, 50s, 40, 50, 60, whatever, it just look physically good, I can always tell when someone's just happy, because it just does something to your skin. You know, just
it's like a glow. Because, you know, people, what they say, stress really does age you, and it can kill you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the reason why is because your blood vessels, and when you stress out, your inner parts of your body all start to
stress out
to go with it. You know what I mean? And so it can then turn your skin. Yeah. That's why a lot of people get dark circles, like puffiness under the eye. Yeah. It's because they have stress. You know what I mean? And a lot of people's stress is mostly trying to compare yourself to other people's jobs, other people's way they look, someone's marriage, something you don't have that you think someone has.
But a lot of people don't use a lot of people when they have stress, which is a lot of people have stress in their life, they never do a natural thing to eliminate that. They always go to like cigarettes to calm them, or you know, drinking to calm them. They go to an outside source to calm them, and I think that in order to deal with stress, you really have to go within and find something that's more natural, like working out. You know, it could be anything, dancing, laughing. Laughing is like something that can make you look younger, you know, just make you feel younger. Yeah. But people always want to go to an outside source, I think, to make themselves feel, you know.
The more you say something, the more the things you say to yourself, the more they actually come true. Yeah. So it's just like whenever you feel like you want something somebody else has, then you counteract that with just saying things like, if I never have a child, if I never get married, if I never lose another pound, if I get a wrinkle, I will be fine for the rest of my life. I will be happy. Everything will be okay, because it really will be.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. So just embrace yourself, you guys. Tell us what you guys think about that. Do you guys feel like you're getting old? Do you not like the way you look? Let us know. We're kind of curious. But do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel to help us grow. That'd be much appreciated. And go ahead and check out a couple more videos. We will put those right there. And that's it. All right. Thank you guys for watching. Everybody have a good day. Bye.